Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War raid stream, week 30, day 2. So today we have a few spoilers for version 4.8, of course. They ended up going over that yesterday. There aren't really too many things to mention, however, obviously it's just basically one really big thing for the most part as far as what is happening next patch, and that is a new game mode. So next patch we are going to be getting a basically a revamp to how a bunch of the guild related events occur, and essentially what's going to happen is invasions is going to become a weekend event, similar to how Bounty Hunter is, in which it happens about once every 4 to 6 weeks or so. So it's basically just going to be exactly like that. Essentially a new version of Bounty Hunter. Or, you know, it's still going to be exactly like Invasions, but just shortened to a 3-day period. They're not going to be changing the packs, but they're probably going to give slightly more sigils, and the amount of kills that you need to complete out the event will be a bit less. But in place of that, we're going to be getting a new kind of event that's going to be added to the game, which is basically going to be like a lore-related event. As many of you know on the forum from years ago, they used to post various lore clips here and there, and they stopped doing that for like the last year and a half, almost 2 years. However, they're going to kind of start bringing that back, but doing it in its own little event that's actually in-game. So that's going to be pretty cool. So basically once every month, it should be, we'll end up getting a special event underneath the guild. It will end up lasting for 1 week. One interesting thing about it is sometimes it will be individually based and other times it will be guild-wide, even though it's underneath the guild category of events. It's going to be a completely different event every single time, so unlike things like raids, invasions, guild wars, and stuff like that, which is basically the exact same thing every single time, these will be vastly different as far as what the main objective is. We might need to go and kill a bunch of things to collect a certain resource to get points, or it might have some kind of thing where you have to do a certain amount of damage to gain points, or any number of things to actually score your points. It's going to be vastly different from week to week, and during that we'll have a special medal that you'll be able to go and accumulate during the event. That medal will end up giving you additional bonuses towards the event. It's either going to be damage, magic, or a combination of both. All those medals are epic rarity, and after the event is done, all those tokens, badges, and medals will be converted into epic ones, specifically the Medal of Seasons, which is a new medal that's coming into the game, the first new medal since we've gotten these 6. The Medal of Seasons will only be obtainable through this monthly event and by no other means. And it's a pretty good medal. It ends up giving +4 attack, +4 armor, and +4 HP, with the smaller variant just giving +1 to each. But of course you just use the bigger ones. This is currently going to make Arachnia completely useless in the current state of the game, so they're probably going to be buffing that into the near future. However, they're not buffing it for next patch. Since the new medal is going to be giving 4 attack, HP, and armor, you would never use Arachnia again until they do buff it, since it's just weaker than Seasons. So once you have 3 Seasons medals, you would never really need to use Arachnias. In that regard, unless they happen to change it might even be okay to go down to 1 Arachnia or even 0 Arachnia. I wouldn't advise doing that yet. But Seasons is a superior medal, though, as of next patch, and while they might make tweaks to that a little bit later, it's going to be pretty cool. Obviously, these other 2 will still be useful, just powering up armor in order to go and assist the Rowan and HP in an HP boost ratio team. However, Seasons is going to be pretty popular. It's going to be particularly good with things like Catches the Bull. However, it's also just going to be the best value as far as overall amount of additional benefit that you end up getting. But anyways, other things related to that game mode, they're going to have various affixes and traits that get applied to them as you're going through these battles. It's kind of like a kingdom page where you do a bunch of battles that are from troops within the kingdom for the most part, and though they could be different as far as which events they are, so I shouldn't just say that, because we don't really know exactly every single week what exactly it'll be, but generally it'll be based on the troops that are from the kingdom itself. And they'll have various restrictions as far as the battles that you do with it, similar to any other game mode. However, the restrictions go much wider than quite a few other game modes. It will also be including restrictions like troop typing. So, for example, troop type is a troop role, I mean. Troop role is a rather underused mechanic within the game, And there's going to be various events where you're probably going to get like 2 of these. For example, you could get like support and striker, and you'd have to use just support and striker related troops in order to clear out the event. One other thing that's kind of interesting is that while any of these restrictions will apply to weapon, unlike some game mode like raids, invasions, and other things, this will be probably the biggest difficulty with this game mode, more so than anything. Even though the battles themselves will probably be pretty easy if you have other good troop options, you won't be able to just cheese them with hero most of the time, because you'll be restricted. So for example, what they were doing for one of the events, and is likely an upcoming one, is a Groshnock restriction. However, that Groshnock restriction also applies to your hero, and while I believe you can use any hero class, your weapon, however, would be restricted to specifically have to be from Groshnock. So for example, we'd have only these 9 options as our weapon. Luckily, one of those is Mang. So actually, we would still be able to use Mang for that one. However, every other one that has a similar restriction, like if it had a blue restriction, or if it had a any other kingdom in the entire game restriction or anything like that, you wouldn't be able to use that kind of option. But that is kind of funny that Mang is here. As I say, you won't be able to use Mang. But yeah, it'll have additional restrictions onto it, which is unique only to that game mode. Most other game modes just let you do whatever weapon. It's almost more like Guild Wars in that regard, except it doesn't even let you do another weapon. You're just forced to have to do specifically whatever the restriction is. And that's mostly because, as you guys know, weapons can pretty much win through any event, things like Mang and a couple of these stronger ones. And they mainly just did that so people would actually build teams. Otherwise, you could just kind of just cheese it with Mang most of the time. So that's kind of one of the reasonings behind that. Let's see, anything else to really mention with this new game mode? The main reward will be the tokens. That and the standard like orbs that you end up getting and all that. But those tokens are probably the biggest loot that you end up getting from it. That and assisting your guild, because you'd probably be able to get it done with just buying up to tier 3 or tier 4 or so. No unique troops are actually going to be coming through this. However, unique weapons might be coming in through this occasionally. You'll also likely be able to obtain old weapons. However, they did say it is likely you will not be able to obtain the old $5 weapons through this method. But they'll still be adding new weapons through these events. However, probably not getting any new troops through these events, so it's mostly just for the tokens. And we're only getting 1 new token, but that could change into the future. Well, theoretically 4 new tokens. However, one of them's only usable, the Seasons one. The other 3 are only usable in the event, and then after the event is done that week, they all convert into Seasons. So you don't actually get to keep them, and you have to rebuy them for every single event, which is pretty much the main incentive for actually buying up the pack so that you would have those extra bonuses. But anyways, it's kind of like how Doom works with those like boons, kind of in a way, just in a slightly different way. Other than that, one other pretty big quality of life thing that we're getting next patch is slots for tokens. As you guys know right now, you're only allowed to have 1 single setup for your tokens, and they're going to be adding 2 more as of next patch. So you'll be able to have 3 different loadouts. So if we wanted to have pure armor for our Rowan team, if we want to have 20% mana start with 8 magic for some other teams, and then maybe something like, I don't know what else is good, maybe a 4 magic in case we want to switch this, 12 magic in case we want to switch to something like that, or 3 seasons, I should say, would probably be the other one. So yeah, those would probably be the 3 setups I would have, but you'd have 3 setups as of next patch. So the 24 armor, the 20% mana start into 8 magic, and 3 seasons. And 3 seasons is pretty decent, because it ends up giving 12 attack, 12 HP, and 12 armor. That's 24 durability and 12 attack. That's basically the benefit of Arachnia, combined with the durability benefit of setting any of these 3 in combination. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how Seasons pans out. It's pretty much going to be the strongest token in the game once it releases, even though it's going to be epic rarity and not legend or mythic. Also, the tokens of Seasons you will be able to use to upgrade your troops, which means for the first time ever, you can buy tokens for gems. Prior to this event coming out, so it's going to be coming as of next patch, 4.8, you have not prior been able to buy tokens with gems. However, as of next patch, you could pretty much just infinitely buy them up. So obviously that won't be done to too much of a degree, given that epics will only get you so far. However, you can get technically infinite tokens as of next patch if you had infinite gems. It's rather pricey though, and I wouldn't really advise it. They could be tweaking the pricing before it comes out. However, on the final pack, if you want to just mass buy it during an event, it costs 500 gems per token. So that's a lot of gems. That means to get a medal, you would have to spend, which is the main reason why I say it's probably not going to be worth doing it that way. You'd still do the event, obviously, but spamming it's probably not a good idea. So to get 1 single medal off of spamming tier 7, you would have to buy it 9 times. 9 times 500 is 4,500, meaning one single Arachnia medal, essentially, or, you know, the equivalent upgrade value of our Arachnia medal, the epic rarity medals, would end up costing you 4,500 gems, which is obviously not realistic to do at all. I'm pretty sure some amount of people will still try, but even though you theoretically can buy infinite of it, it's not really, because it's limited, very limited in how many you would actually be able to obtain, and it's better just to go and farm them. You can easily get a few Arachnias per hour just from farming. And if you value, even if you only get one Arachnia in a single hour, that's 500 gem worth. So it's definitely not worth it. Even if they lower it down to 200 gems per final pack, I still don't know if it's really going to be that worth it. Because you can easily outvalue getting a single Arachnia in an hour, which is a really good rate if you're getting over 200 gem value per hour. And you'd easily be getting that if you were leveling up a hero while farming for Arachnias. So, I don't know. I really don't foresee it being mass bought, even if it was dropped to 200, and especially if it's left at 500. Anyways, anything else I forgot to mention? Let me double check. Let's see. This is kind of an overview thing. I mentioned most of the things with the events. As I mentioned, there's going to be various affixes and additional traits added to troops. Basically, what the extra traits are kind of like what hero has, and that it has the ability to have more than 3 traits. Some things within these battles will have additional traits. How many, we don't know. We only really saw it with 1. However, they might end up doing a few to them as you get deeper into the game mode. The other thing that can happen, which is the first instance of it happening in the game, is affixes. Affixes are kind of interesting in that they cannot be stunned. They're the same kind of things that are applied to weapons, but similar to a weapon, getting the troops stunned will not actually disable it. For traits, yes, and those additional perks that they get there, but for affixes that affect specifically their ability, it does not. So, for example, one affix could be like give all blue allies 2 mana, or silence first enemy, or burn first enemy, or any of those other ones. Pretty much any effect that you see on a weapon will potentially at some point be added to some of these troops that are within these battles. And some of them are pretty strong, like 20% instant kill and other various things like that, like Hunter's Mark all enemies and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be too strong for this game mode, but be interesting to see how they use that into the future. And it will definitely allow the game modes to be a little bit more dynamic and switch things up compared to what the base value of troops would actually do. Any idea when the next new Delve weekend is? I believe it's a few weeks from now, isn't it? I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. I can go check in a moment, though. Let me just finish going over everything 4.8 related. Did I forget anything else? I mentioned all this. Oh, yeah. What's it called? The Cedric medal is going to be renamed to Nisha. I forget if I mentioned that prior. I think I did. That was like the one thing I spoiled about this patch prior to them doing the 4.8 thing. But yeah, Cedric will be renamed to Nisha, just so it thematically fits a little bit better. The visual for all of them will be changed as well. And honestly, I don't really care for the new visuals as much, because it's harder to tell what rarity they are just by looking at them. It's kind of weird. Infernus is finally getting fixed again. Let's see. I'm not sure what the issue with Queen McCall's spell was. Was it double instant killing? It might have been double instant killing. And I believe that's pretty much it. Of course, we'll be going way more in depth on the game mode once it actually gets released. However, it's not something I can just give out a guide for, because unlike any other game mode, like Raids, Invasions, Tower of Doom, Guild Wars, anything like that, this game mode's going to be vastly different. Like, every single week, the play style that you need to do is completely different than any other week. So it'd be kind of weird to see how it pans out. And I can't even say, oh, just use Mang, because the weapons you have most likely will change on a given week. So it's probably going to have the most amount of change of any game mode. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how that pans out. But anyways, yeah, I think that was mostly everything. Not really much else to mention with that. But it will allow them to add a lot of different game modes, essentially, within one single game mode. Because they can do almost anything they want with this game mode, with all the changes that they made for it. So, yeah, we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens with it. It's basically a dynamic game mode, can be whatever they want on a given month. And it will happen about once every month. I believe it happens actually exactly once every month, every 4 weeks. Because it's basically replacing out invasions, essentially. They're also going to be eventually replacing out raids, too, they end up mentioning. Some other things that they mentioned is we're still going to be getting the treasure map rework and the arena rework. They're happening later this year. And by later this year, I mean the later half of the year, so probably like October or so, somewhere around there, maybe a little later. But yeah, sometime around that general time frame, they will be doing all that. So if you're still holding out for that, the treasure hunt rework, they're still aware of it. They're just getting around to it eventually. But anyways, let's get into some grinding. So first things first, let's go clear out Adventure Board. Get ourselves some Hierophant EXP. And of course we have City of Thieves Delve today, so we'll be focusing on that as well. Also, I didn't even say hello to everyone. Let me go do that. Hello, everyone. Hello, Bill Warhammer. Hello, Army X-Tube. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Big Jellybean. Hello, David. Hello, Drock Savage. Hello, Birdleaf. Hello, Dinosuit Girl. Hello, name I have no clue how to pronounce from Ukraine. Welcome. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Captain. Hello, Tyranny. Hello, Jefferson. Hello, James. Let's see. They are planning on buffing up Arachnia. Even though for next patch, Arachnia will be useless, there is a plan to buff it. Why they didn't already do that, I do not know. But they make a lot of weird decisions. But yeah, Arachnia for next patch will be useless. However, version 4.9, which will be the patch after next patch, is likely to buff Arachnia. However, next patch will not have that buff. What kind of buff they'll do to it, we don't really know. If I had to guess, they'll probably raise it to 6 attack. But as it currently stands, Arachnia will be useless as of next patch. Or at least for next patch. Because Seasons will just be the superior option. It gives the exact same bonus and extra. And they're both the same rarity too, which is kind of funny. So yeah, Arachnia is really useless as of next patch. But they are likely to buff it, so don't get rid of like every single Arachnia. At least keep 3 just in case. Because if they do buff it, it's probably going to be a pretty hefty amount of attack. I highly doubt they're going to change it to 8 attack. But 5 or 6, most likely 6 would probably be what they do with it. The midway point between magic and HP armor. Hello, Remmerford. Welcome. Hello, Andrew. Let's see. Hello, Analyst. You need to take a nap. Oh, yeah, I won't be able to sleep tonight. I need to watch, stay up to watch Super Tuesday. There's like, what, 14 states voting today? Counting the provinces or whatever they're called. There's quite a few. But yeah, I'll need to stay up for that. Results are already coming in for it as well. Let's see. Hello, Vinrock. Hello. Who else did I miss? Hello, Hobbin. Also, we got Valraven. Hello, Steve. And hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome. Any idea what are reworking? How will it be different? In what regard? The biggest thing that's happening next patch is they're adding a new event that's replacing invasions. Invasions will now happen on weekends occasionally, about once every 4 to 6 weeks. It'll still be the exact same loot and everything. However, it'll be easier to complete out since it's only going to be 3 days rather than an entire weekend. I mean, rather than an entire week, I mean. Oh, you mean the treasure hunt rework? We don't know any info about it. We know it's happening. We have no clue what the actual rework will be, though. Nope, we have no info on that. And probably won't until it happens, most likely. Or at least until the beta. Also, all future betas, they are going to have a sign-up program for it. I will probably do a video for that whenever they finally get around to it. However, they still haven't gotten around to it. But they probably will in another month or two. Because I assume 4.9 is probably in May, I want to guess. Probably sometime around May. That patch is likely not to have the rework, though. It's most likely 3 patches away. Or 3 major patches away. Next major patch, I forget what they're doing. 5.0 is going to be the big patch. And then the patch right after that should probably be the Treasure Hunt Arena rework. One, if not both of them. Among a few other changes probably happening with the patch as well. But anyways, that's out. Let's go clear out dungeons. And then probably mess with the faction. Because we do need to go get that done. It's a really good faction, too. Do be mindful if you are keeping City of Thieves to farm it at level 20 forever. Make sure not to do the event today. However, if you've already gotten it upgraded, it's a pretty good place to farm if you want to go a little bit more into sigils than normal. Where's my team? Where'd it go? There it is. Get that Phoenicia out so we can instantly win. Hello, Original! Hello, Zex! Welcome, welcome. Let's see. We'll take that down for now. Yeah, the new game mode that's coming in next patch is pretty interesting. And it's nice that we're getting another method to get medals, because this will be the first thing that, well, I guess not the first, because you can actually do guild tasks. So this is basically the third location where you can get medals now, and they are likely to keep adding more as time goes on, because the first and pretty much only viable one is to do it in Explore. The second one is you can get a small amount every single week off a guild. However, that only goes up to Arachnia, I believe it was. Was it Ultra Rare or Arachnia? One or the other. And then you can also get epic ones from doing the new game mode that's going to be coming in. And keep in mind, even if you don't spend any gems towards the event, you'll still be able to earn some amount of this new token as well. You obviously won't get as many, but the reward trees actually end up giving it. So similar to how something like a raid has, you know, just various rewards. It's set up in the same kind of way, where it has 12 different steps, similar to this game mode, and quite a few others. And with those 12 steps, there's a few tokens spread out all throughout here. And by a few, I mean more than a few. I think, I'm actually not sure what the exact amount is. I believe it's actually around a dozen or so, if you complete out the entirety of the event. I forget the exact count on it, but it's, I'm pretty sure it's enough to get a medal. So it's somewhere around 9, I would say. Because I'm almost guaranteed it was enough to get a medal out of it. So that means every single time you do this event, you could get upwards of a single epic medal that you'd be able to go to use to upgrade your troops. And not raids, that is. I'm referring to the new event. The new event doesn't really technically have an official name, because the name of the event technically changes every single month, because it's a completely new event, essentially, every single month, even though it's thematically, reward-wise, will be the same, and setup will kind of be the same. But it will be named something different every single week. I'll probably name it the weekly, or the World Lore event. I'm probably going to go World Lore event as far as its name. It's kind of hard to say, though. World Lore event. World Lore event. There we go. I'm not sure why I'm getting so tongue-tied on that. But that's probably what I'll call it. Because it comes with lore every single time. Or it should. I highly doubt they'll run out of lore. They used to do it every week. Doing it only once a month should be manageable. Anyways, what am I looking for? I'm looking for dungeons. But I already did dungeons, which is why I'm clicking everywhere. But now we need to go do Dills. So let's go and get our shop pack. Where's the thingy? Grab that. Get our enchant. And let's go through this event. And we'll just grab the team from earlier. Oh no, we're just gonna run truffle for this. I kind of want to run gold. Let's see. Where's Rowan? Want to build a quick kill Rowan. I need something somewhat similar to this. What am I looking for? This was more so for farming up, but I want a quick kill instead. Also, we need armor if we're gonna be running this. Oh, I can't wait till we have 3 different slots for these. It's gonna make it so much easier to switch up between them. I still wish it was a little bit more than 3 slots, like 5 slots or something. Even 10. But at least 5. I feel like 3 is going to be slightly too little. Because there's definitely more than 3 traits, definitely more than 3 token setups that you would ever use. However, it's better than 1. It's also a bit of a temporary fix. They do plan on adding probably a bigger fix to it into the future. However, for now, it's just going to have to be good enough. And it's probably going to remain that way for a while. But if they are going to keep it that way for a while, hopefully they will at least expand it to 5. But anyways, let's go do faction now. And just paste this team in. Get that right over there. Manage team, paste team. And there we go. Okay, let me actually get rid of greed. So we'll get a little bit less gold, but we'll get Mirage Queen in there. Oh, did I spell Mirage Queen wrong? I always do. There we go. Okay, any other change we need for that? I don't believe so. We just basically go right into Rowan, win, and dead. Sounds like a plan. Let's do that. And also, we can get some class XP for this. Who do we want to go level? Well, we're still trying to get this up, so let's go some Hierophant then. Goes ever so slightly slower, but we gain a lot of XP for it. The Salty Party is the event name. Hello, Vangor. Let's see. Did you do your raids already? No. If so, can you show the team that you're using again? Sure, I can go show the team that I did. We didn't actually do any raids yet to stream, even though it's a raid stream. But, let's see. Let me go do a raid. We're using this currently. Mad Prophet, Doom Scythe, and Shabana Vespera. You can also do the yellow version of it. The yellow version is a little bit more accessible because everything's available for it this week. The yellow Doom weapon is available in Soulforge. Vespera is an event key drop table. And this thing is a common, which you probably have just laying around already. Okay, so right off the bat, we do need a little bit of mana. Do keep in mind you can only cast the things once. So even though we have 2, we can actually only cast it once. The main reason why we have 2 is just so they both use the same color. So we have pure purple going. So we'll keep doing this until we have alignment on yellow, ideally. Or at least enough to kill Valraven so it doesn't escape. Well, we'll go for it. And that will kill out Valraven so it doesn't escape. I will go for another AoE and that should be dead. Pretty close to it, and dead. And you just rinse and repeat that until you win. And as you saw, we didn't even really use the purple troops. We kind of just have them there for a burst of mana if we need it. However, the main premise is throw Vespera into a doomed weapon of purple or yellow, and just use the 2 purple troops or the 2 yellow commons. The 2 purple commons or 2 yellow commons. Let's see. The cheaper version was just to use Mang. There's not much of an option for the event other than just spam Mang if you don't have the Vespera. And that might be one of the slight issues with this upcoming event. This upcoming event, or this new system that's coming, might be a little bit hard some weeks if you don't have some of the better troops. Mostly because you will not be able to cheese it with really overpowered weapons sometimes. Because it's possible that the restriction also restricts you to bad weapons. So it'll be kind of weird to see how that ends up panning out as far as teams. Because as clunky as some of the class event battles are, is about as clunky as some of the new game mode events are going to be occasionally. Possibly even more so, because even class events you can at least use whatever weapon. Where many of the times in this new game mode you won't be able to. And we're right back at our 4 battles. But anyways, I'm going to go do the faction. We might do a little bit more of those. If we still have time after doing the delves. Also, we'll hand out a redeem code once we hit the first orb. And go from there. But anyways, we got this place. Double check for Cedrics. So we got to check the 2s. See if there's a Cedric. If they're not, then don't do them. And then just go for the bigger multipliers. There we go. And then we just one-shot everything. Yeah, Shabana is a pretty useful troop. She is one of the better mythics. She's not a high priority to craft. She's probably like 15th as far as order. But she's definitely a really great utility troop. And she is an event key drop table right now. However, there's 2 in event key drop table, Scorpius and Shabanu. So you might get one or the other. However, both of them are viable at this current moment in time. Shabanu is pretty good for PvP and a few team setups and Guild Wars. And the Scorpius is used mostly for Explore 12. As the quickest known Explore team in the entire game for Explore 12 farming. I'm not aware of anything quicker than Scorpius build for it. Using it in Urskeas, where there's no immune to poison. Yes, I would say Vespera is actually under Phoenicia in the current state of the game. I don't know, I guess it depends what you want to prioritize. Like many things, there's different priority order for different game modes. Like Vespera, the biggest thing that she's used for is Guild Wars. Even though she has overlap to other locations, Guild Wars is probably her biggest utility. Whereas Phoenicia is used for Explore 5, Dungeons, Pet Battles, and anything that's generally around that similar amount of stats, where she can one-shot or 2-shot with her ability, with a full AoE. It would also be locations where you don't have to deal with Submerge, because she does get hard countered by Submerge. So you wouldn't use her in Delves, for example, because Delves have Submerge chance on them. But it's the thing that comes down to a lot of troops is it really just depends what game mode you want to focus on. Because they're both really good. They're just both really good in different areas of the game. And they're not like the absolute most meta of troops, but they're definitely high priority. Like, they're definitely the better half of Mythics. There we go. Let's take this out. Mythic question. If not ready... Wait. If one is not ready for 500 delving. Is High King Iron Guts still a priority to craft? Or would the Possessed King or the, what's TWQ again? Be a better first mythic craft? I forget what the TWQ is. I would never advise getting Possessed King as first craft, though. You want to make sure your first craft is damage-oriented, regardless of what you go for. And the main reason for this is earlier on in the game, you tend to lack damage options. You have plenty of mana options because there's a lot of low-rarity mana options. But you tend to lack the damage. And since Possessed King is mostly a mana accumulation method... Oh, yeah, Wild Queen. Since it's mostly a mana accumulation method, I would advise going for damage. So yeah, something like Infernus, something like Wild Queen, something like... what else is really high on damage these days? I guess Aquaticus, but I don't really care for how it functions, personally. But yeah, Wild Queen would probably be pretty high priority. I'm increasingly finding it to be really, really meta. Mostly because of how well it devastates in Guild Wars. Not just that, but it has overlap to PvP. And it also has overlap to low-level delves. While there are better things for lower-level delves, it can run to about 200 pretty consistently. Or even all the way if you want to run it with Mang. But, yeah, I'd probably say Wild Queen these days. I'm almost wanting to consider it the first craft in the game. Though Infernus is pretty good value as first craft. Especially now that they fixed the glitch as of next patch. There was a glitch with his functionality as far as how he targets. It's been changed a couple times throughout the history of the game. And I believe it's finally like officially fixed as of next patch. So, I don't know, maybe Infernus is still the first craft. Because it's becoming better as of next patch with how it targets. Its ability always had weird targeting issues. But that should be fixed as of next patch. Infernus was your first random? Nice. Yeah, one of the other main reasons why Infernus is so good, it just has a lot of things going for it simultaneously. And while you almost never see me using it, it's particularly good in early game just because of the amount of rolls that it covers within a single troop. It has insanely high damage output, it has board clear, it has a storm into its own color while having board clear, it has burn all enemies, making it the best burn in the entire game. It essentially has 12 damage per turn to all enemies with that perk, which tends to be even more consistent earlier on in the game due to less people having immune to burn, because they might not have their troops traded. And, yeah, he can bypass Submerge because he has the way that he distributes damage, does it in a way that Submerge does not counter it. He can also slightly bypass Barrier, because Burn not only breaks Barrier, but it would also, even if it didn't, it hits in multiple damage sources, so that a barrier, even if the entire team was barriered when you're about to cast, you would still end up doing damage to them. Not as much, obviously, but you'd still end up getting damage down. And, yeah, he just covers a lot of ground, and it's just a great damaging option. That still even has board clear and mana accumulation on top. He tends to fall off later in the game, mostly because Mythics are starting to get so specific now that there's generally... Like, he's really good at doing everything, but he's not best at doing anything other than burn. So unless you specifically need burn, he's not really used in endgame anymore. However, as you're progressing through the game, he's a great option to have, which is one of the reasons why you tend to get him earlier. Kind of similar to a Fairish Ra, in that the earlier you get him, the more utility you can actually use out of it, because the later in the game you get it, the less value it really has to you. Because if you get Fairish Ra when you almost finish out your soul farming, a Fairish Ra doesn't really assist you much. And Infernus is kind of the same way. He covers a lot of ground into early, mid-game, and even the earlier parts of late game. That it's a really great option to have. But if you wait on crafting it and wait until you already have like almost all the mythics in the game or half the mythics, and then you finally get your Infernus, you're probably never going to touch the Infernus at that point. Whereas if you get it earlier, you'd actually be able to go and use it while it's still viable. Because honestly, the only instance I really use him in endgame is if we specifically need a burn, particularly in teams that use triple damage to burning. That's like the biggest thing that it gets used for later in the game. Everything else it doesn't really get used for much, except maybe the occasional Guild War team. Just because it has a lot of value in that due to how many rolls it covers. Let's see. What do we even want here? We'll take this one. Oh, is this a Cedric? Yes, it is. Let me grab that. It gives us slightly less points, but it gives us a lot more gold. It's actually one of the reasons why this delve is so overpowered. It has second room Cedric at 3 different locations. Or technically first room Cedric, because the first room is always guaranteed that one. So the first room that isn't that has 3 different locations that can be Cedric. Let's see. Let's take that for full mana and just instantly kill it. Luckily, we still have 1 damage capabilities. Oh, so we still need to farm up more gold. Well, luckily, we're technically doing that right now as we speak, with that extra gold bonus on it. Since we have a 500 gold cap now, as we do a single explosion, we're getting a pretty substantial amount of gold. We're getting 100 per explosion then. And that gets multiplied by our bonuses as well. So just the battle gold alone ended up giving us almost 1,000 gold. That number that you saw up there, that 100 something, combined with the value of the normal default room, ended up giving that. And then we also get the bonus of the actual gold from the room as well. So it ends up giving quite a bit of loot. I guess I'll take the 1.3. It's a treasure room, so you would normally want to wait, but I'm not actually sure what better value comes out to there. We'll take it. Because it is a higher multiplier, however, it's a treasure room. Oh no, a submerge. That's not nice. The team we're using does not have counter to it. Because I'm not using a hero class that had Dispel. Would you use Forest Troll 2 times, Gob Truffle, and Hero Glaive to run this Delve to 500? Yes. I ended up mentioning that for a Monday team as well. But yes, if I was to run this to 500, I'd probably be using Truffle the entire time. Or at least most of the time. But yes, that is correct. Oh wait, we already have kill. Go for it. Dead. I got that really annoying trait that submerges them every single time they cast. I believe that came from that one 1.5 room. The one that had the all those submerge related troops. I forget her name. I'm trying to like say the new name of the troop, I keep forgetting it. Is that one from Sunken Fleet? But yeah, that room. I think it was this one. Yeah, this one right here. Oh, it's Nimue. Why did I forget her name? No, this was the one I was trying to say. Sea Witch. But, yeah, I believe that one. Yeah. It gives title affix. Which makes it so every single time they cast, they gain Submerge. You did Delve at 100 and 200 with your Pure Faction build, and you're on the way to 500. Can you explain a little bit why you choose those 3 with the order that you did, please? Thank you. You did Delve 100 and 200 with your Pure Faction team. This one? The main reason we ended up doing it is you can use the first slot to tank and then use the other 2 to skull spam. I believe I might have made a trade-off of going double of the legends into 1 copy of Tome Robber into 1 copy of Street Thief. But I'm pretty sure the final time I ended up doing it, I did end up doing it with double Tome Robber. And the main reason for this is Tome Robber becomes your main damage source, having the double skull spam like that, and then you just have your tank up front. But yeah, if you're finding or losing too much with it, you can use double King of Thieves into Tome Robber into Street Thief. You can also consider going double King of Thieves into double Tome Robber. You'll have a lot of a damage rush, though that is riskier to run it without the mana accumulator. That also is a gold counter, which is pretty good for the first and final battle, since the first and final battle is really gold dependent, and you can counter them before they counter you. And getting that board control, wow, nice amount of shards right there, 194. But you can use your the mana that she accumulates to also regain your gold. So if they end up taking away your gold, they have so much extreme greed with that 4 gold that they get per extra turn, that's 16 over across your entire team, that you're normally going to be getting like 1 or 2 extra turns off your Street Thief. So she can really easily get your gold right back up from her mana accumulation. You can do the same thing with skulls too, but it goes up pretty quick, is the bottom line. And just having that as a counter can be pretty nice, because everything on your team other than her uses purple. Also, do not use the little cat thing or whatever that is. It is the only useless thing from the faction that you would never actually use for the faction event. If anyone else has any other questions, let me know. I'll make sure to go over it all. Let's see, we'll grab this one. Nice little cascade and dead. Surprised we can still one-shot. I believe this is the last Delve level that we can actually one-shot at. Every subsequent one from here, I'm pretty sure we stop one-shotting. Yep, we already can't even one-shot this. Due to 2 rooms here that won't be able to. Some of the tier 5s and the final battle. Oh, am I even looking for here? Let's take skull. Take the skull poke. And just deny him out there. Okay, we'll take the other skull there. And then he's dead. Not the ideal way to win, but we'll take it. Skull, skull, skull. Yep, no problem, Zex. Okay, what do we want out of these? I guess we'll grab the 1.25, the 1.2, the tier 5, the tier 4. And we'll be good to go. What class am I running here? I'm running Hierophant. Not because it's viable for this team, but just to get levels on it. Can you get full mana? You're still 1 off. Okay, just take that, and he's dead. Oh, that was actually the 1.4 room. Let me actually take that first. This multiplier is so big even though it's a treasure room. It actually has the highest multiplier of any treasure room. What do we want here? I'll take that down for now. Get our Rowan. He obviously has enough durability to live. Hello, John! Welcome. He gets his transform. Oh, that better not be enough life for him to live. Luckily he didn't get it. Because we got extra turn cascade. Nice. Also, we already got past the orb. I need to go hand out code then. I said when we pass the orb, and we're already past it. So I guess once we finish out this stuff, we'll hand it out. Soon, TM. But yeah, can't forget our code. Also, do be mindful, I didn't mention it earlier. Surprised no one asked, but next patch is not coming anytime soon, most likely. It's likely still like 2 weeks off or so. It's probably going to be happening at the end of next Guild Wars, somewhere around there. There's a possibility it might happen during Guild Wars. Though who knows, it could be next week. It's almost guaranteed not this week though. But there actually is a slight possibility it's next week. That's almost 100% not this week. Okay, what do we want here? Let's get our explosions. They've done a preview 3 weeks prior to release before. And it was around this time of year too. One of the previews that they did last year, they did like mid to late March or something. And we thought we'd get it by the end of the month. And it didn't even come to like mid-April or something. No, it wasn't during a Guild Wars. I don't think it was during a Guild War. They generally try to avoid releasing patches during Guild War weeks. And the main reason for that is Guild Wars is technically the most competitive location within the game. And if they do things that change the meta, which they definitely would, due to some things that are next patch. I guess actually no, it wouldn't. Seasons would change the meta slightly. However, seasons wouldn't take effect until an event actually happened. So next Guild War will not be affected by seasons, though the subsequent one will be. So 2 Guild Wars from now will be the first one. But normally the reason why they don't do patches during it is because there's normally some kind of troop that gets changed, either troop reworks or mechanics that change or something that ends up affecting Guild Wars. And some people might have done their battles whereas other people haven't yet. And to be fair to everyone, they generally try not to do it during Guild War weeks. But anyways, let me go grab Truffle. That's not Truffle. Where's my Truffle? We'll just run this for the rest of the delves. And we'll probably run this with normal hero class rather than Hierophant. Just goes a little bit quicker. Before I do that, though, let me go hand out code. So, code. We'll go grab one. Let's see. Which is our code? I believe it's the one below this. However, I do want to check this just in case. Yep, that one is used. So let me go get this other code then. And, oh, there's two D ones right side by side. I just repasted the same one twice. Fail. There we go. Okay, let me grab that. Copy, copy. Paste, paste. And here you guys go. Oh, that's not the chat. Here you guys go. There's the game code. You use it on gemsofwar.com for the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Whatever game says right over there in the bottom left corner is what you put in. Our redeem code's right over there in chat. The DPA2 and all the random numbers and letters right there. And it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. And only usable on PC mobile version, of course. But there you guys go. Have any thoughts on any of the new medals that we saw last night? There's 4 new medals that are coming. However, one of them is only only one of them is a real medal. But there's 4 new medals. 3 of them are fake medals, basically. These 3 fake medals are basically just medals that last for specifically this new game mode that's coming out, which occurs once a month for an entire week. For those game modes, there'll be a specific medal that you'll be able to buy up into the shop, as well as that you get from doing various tiers as you progress through the event. And these will give you one of 3 bonuses. It's either a damage bonus, or I should say a skull bonus, a spell bonus, or a skull and spell bonus. So basically, regardless of which one of the 3 you get, you're going to get some kind of damage increase. Which one it is really just depends on the theme. But it's either going to be skull-related increase, a spell-related increase, or a combination of both. So it's almost like Hunter's Mark, Fairy Fire kind of situation, kind of thing, where it ends up helping one, both, or one or both of those 2 options. And that's what those 3 medals do. And what all 3 of those medals convert to is as soon as that event is done for the week, as soon as the event ends up finishing out, every single one of those medals that you had that ends up increasing your damage output will be converted into Medal of Seasons. So if you had some tokens, those will go to Tokens of Seasons, the badges go to Badges of Seasons, and the medals go to Medals of Seasons. But they all become seasons at the end of the event. They do not stay as whatever the thing is. And also, all those bonuses, like the skull-related bonus, spell, all that, they only apply to that specific event and to nothing else. You can't use it in other events, and you can't use it anywhere outside of the event. It's just specifically only used for that game mode, and then they get converted to seasons. And once they get converted to seasons, they could be used for anything. And once they're converted to seasons, they give an attack, HP, and armor buff. 1 to all stats when they're only a badge, and 4 to all stats when they're a medal. Which means you can get 12 attack, 12 HP, and 12 armor total from having 3 of them equipped, which is a pretty substantial amount of stats. That is, 36 total stats? That's a pretty hefty amount. That's way higher than you can currently do. The current highest you can do right now is 24, all into HP or armor, or a combination of both. Whereas you'll be able to get a 12-12-12 as of next patch for a 36 total. So pretty nice. And obviously Ketris benefits the absolute most out of that. However, there are other things that end up getting a benefit. But yeah, Ketris even more meta as of next patch. Out of all the changes that happen next patch, Ketris probably gets the biggest buff, unless there's some other troop changes that we're not aware of. But based on current knowledge we have, Ketris is indirectly getting the biggest buff as of next patch. Though those metal setups might have a few other applicable uses. But anyways, let's keep going. Now that we handed out code, let's go finish out this event. Oops, I forgot to change my team. No! I forgot to piece my team in. And there's no way I'm retreating because then we need to spend more things. Well, I guess we're running this entire place with Rowan again. Luckily, we can still one-shot some battles, especially if we get a skull poke. Mistakes were made. I did not mean to run this again. Let's see, what battles do we want? 1.4. I guess we might grab that actually. And we don't have a Cedric. Have we only got 1 Cedric so far? That's quite unfortunate. So hello, Kraken. Welcome. I know, 4 seasons but only 3 buffs. Yeah, it feels weird saying 3 seasons. Because whenever I say we're going to equip 3 seasons, it kind of sounds like I'm saying there's only 3 seasons and not 4. But yeah, I can see that being slightly triggering. That is kind of funny. But yeah, 3 seasons is going to be a pretty popular build as of next patch. Because aside from something like 20% mana into 8 magic, it's among one of the strongest builds that you can do from any metal combination is 3 seasons. Where's the... Oh, wait. I'm trying to find the 1.4. I literally just did the 1.4. And, of course, 20% Mana Star into 2 seasons. Would also end up being used. Yeah, Arachnia is useless as of next patch. However, they are likely to buff it a patch after next patch. I'm not sure why they didn't already buff it, but they didn't. Weird design choice. Because for at least one patch, Arachnias are basically useless. Though it could have also been deliberate just to get people to incentivize getting seasons more. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people will buy it up to get 3 seasons by the end of the first event. Because doing the event without mass buying it will not give you enough to get 3 seasons the very first time. You'd need at least 2 events, if not more, to do it naturally. So quite a few people might end up buying it up. And that's probably going to cost a few thousand gems to do so. If you want to get 3 of the 4 seasons. I mean, whatever. If you want to get 3 seasons, it feels so weird saying that. But yeah, if you want to get 3 seasons, you'd have to farm it up during the very first event and spend like thousands of gems. I'm not sure the exact amount because they haven't even finalized how much the event's going to cost. But we'll know as soon as we get the first event how much that will actually end up costing. I'll probably mention on the Monday video as well what it actually comes out to price-wise. But at this current moment in time, we don't know because they haven't finalized how much the packs will cost. But we'll know eventually. But if you want to have 3 seasons for 2 Guild Wars from now, it will cost probably a few thousand gems to do so. However, I believe you can almost get 1 season for free. Like 1 season medal. Or almost free. And you could just run that with a 20% into like 4 magic. And if you do it that way, you'd gain 4 to all stats. So you don't necessarily have to go get 3 seasons. Now that you brought that to my attention, that sounds so weird every single time I say that now. It's going to bother me now, too. Yeah, 3 seasons on Ketris is going to be very broken. That's 12 additional stat buff than he would currently have. Which basically means a, what is that, a 6 higher damage output? Yeah. That'd be, wait, how much did I say was extra? Sorry, 4. Never mind, a 2 extra, no, never mind. I was right the first time. Yeah, 8. Because, or sorry, 6. Wow, numbers, how'd they work? But, because you would be getting 24 now, and you'd be getting 32 then. Or, sorry. Gosh, I cannot do math right now. It would be 36 then, whereas it's currently 24 now. So that would end up coming out to, a boost of 6 additional damage for Ketris, compared to what he currently has. Not to mention his skull output would also be 12 higher than normal. Which means not only does his spell has 6 higher damage, but his skulls also has 12 higher damage. Yeah, it's a pretty nice buff to Ketris. It's definitely not used only for Ketris, though, but he does gain the biggest benefit. How to pass the level 20 of the letter you like in Brazil, you can show you or type in chat for you to translate. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Not sure what you mean, but you can't go over level 20 on troops and hero if that's what you're referring to. Like, the thing that you level up with souls on hero is capped at 20, as you can see here. However, it keeps going up when you do additional battles. Like, this one is forever at 20, the ones that you do souls with, but as you do battles with the class, it goes up to 100. Not sure if that's what you're asking. But no, the level cap in this game is 20. Other than elite levels, which theoretically could, I guess, could almost be considered 21, 22, and 23. However, it stops at 20, and then you end up going to elite levels for the final 3, which is like that bronze level, the silver level, and the gold level. Let's see. We'll take our splits. Tacet is loaning gems with 20% interest. I wish we could do that. We would get a lot of gem profit that way. Also, did I just start another delve with the wrong team? I feel like we're just going to be using Whirlwind this whole time, aren't we? I've been wanting to switch to Truffle the last 2 delves, and I forgot. Which is bad, because we slow down quite a bit now. Even more so than the previous one. Unless we can still double cast it, if nothing else. However, this is much slower than running Truffle at this point. Also, this gives Submerge to every single thing once they cast for the rest of the delve. It's going to be even more annoying now, too. Since we're not running Truffle to have Dispel. Hey, and this one even has more Submerge on top of that. How about Medal of Orpheus? That sounds just weird. I don't know. I kind of like it. It works better than Cedric, thematically. Because Orpheus is that one cleansing troop that we have in the game. So it made a lot more sense that it's named Orpheus. Honestly, I have no clue why they named it Cedric initially. Hopefully if they ever release something that's called Cedric, it'll have a gold bonus on it. We currently do not have any kind of resource bonus on any of the tokens currently. However, that might change into the future. They are planning on adding more tokens. We're getting our first new token next patch. However, we are likely to get more into the future through various game modes. There's a possibility that the new game mode that's coming out too would even end up bringing more than 1 token over time. Initially, it's only going to be bringing in 1. Well, theoretically 4. However, only 1 of them is usable outside of the event. However, that might change over time. Where certain events would give certain ones. I wouldn't even be surprised if they do it based on color and eventually have 6 of them. So, for example, if the kingdom's a yellow, they have a specific medal that you end up getting from it, and so on and so forth. Wouldn't be surprised if they do 1 per color. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, we're only technically getting 1 new medal next patch. What's the Phoenicia Explore team look like again? Phoenicia Explore team is hero with anything that doesn't block Phoenicia, followed by Phoenicia, Leprechaun, and Mirage Queen. And you specifically use the hero class of Sunspear. You can also use any hero class with Red Storm. However, if you're planning on double casting a battle, you want to go Sunspear. If you're going to go single cast, you don't need to, but for double cast, you definitely do. Yeah, the new medal designs are kind of weird. I actually prefer current medal design. The main thing I hate about the new medals, more so than anything, is it's hard to tell what their rarity is by looking at them. That's like my biggest complaint of them, more so than anything. Because right now, the medals are extremely easy to distinguish what their rarity is. Whereas next patch is a little bit harder without actually clicking on them. Or without already just knowing what they are. Okay, let's not forget to switch to Truffle for this final delve. Which we'll have in a moment. At the end of the next battle, we'll need to change our team. So we gotta do this one, and then we can change our team. Let's at least get 1 battle in with the right team. I'm not sure why they changed them, to be honest. But they did. Which is kind of weird. Because the new medals actually have the old design when they're visually shown within the event menu. Unless you're planning on changing that. It's not exactly the old design, but it's more thematic to the old design. So it's kind of weird that they're using both, and that they changed all the older ones to look weird, or at least different than they currently do. But anyways, let's go make sure to change this team, which I've been meaning to do for a couple battles now. Well, if nothing else, at least we've got more class XP, and now we'll just destroy it with truffles, as Truffle normally does. What do we grab here? Oh yeah, I can replace out Hero for half mana start if we wanted to. I'll take that for now. Double up on green, hopefully not miss. And now we just truffle destroy everything. Oh no, he didn't gain full mana. And there we go. Are we on 12 magic right now? I was gonna say, no wonder why we're doing so much less damage on that team. I forgot we're still using our Wayne armor. So let me go all in magic, grab our tribute. How many gems? 12. We're gonna need that for next patch. Let's see, we got a Cedric. Oh yeah, I wanted to double check. Can you go up to Arachnia? Let me check. Guilds. How far does it go up? Oh, yep, it does go to Arachnia. That's what I thought. Yeah, you do get 2 Arachnias from guild tasks. They're on the very final 2 tasks, but you do get Arachnias from it. Nice. But yeah, all the medals that come within next patch or within next new game mode, they all basically count as Arachnias as far as their value, their epic rarity. So you'll be able to use them for upgrading epic rarity like things. So if you were to go and upgrade an epic, it counts as one single epic thing. And if you were to upgrade an ultra rare, you can use one of them in place of 3 ultra rares for its final level. But yeah, it has all the functionality of an epic one. Anyways. Also, I'm surprised Guild hasn't gotten it completed yet. Who's slacking on gold so far this week? Almost everyone's done their requirement, though. I guess not that many people are doing the extra amount. I did a little bit extra this week. I'm a little bit low on gold, though, through all the delving that we've been doing. Or, you know, purification, I mean. Definitely need to farm up more. Because nothing next patch actually uses gold, though. But, yeah, we're getting pretty low. Only about around 3 million. We're getting pretty close to getting all factions completed, though. And once we do that, we're not going to need as much gold. Because the only pure faction I have left is Sea of Sorrows, which I believe is about a month and a half away. And after that, we'll be good to go. But anyways, let's finish out this event. Let's see. Go over here. If anyone else has any other questions, do let me know. Let's see. I'll take that down for now. Grab herself a blue right over there. Get our truffle down. They are not placeholders. I believe they're permanent changes. Most art assets are not used for placeholders in it. Anything that they change, they generally change. But yeah, they really like doing controversial visual changes for whatever reason. I don't feel like this one's going to be as controversial as some that they've done in the past. The most controversial one they ever did was 2.5 years ago. They ended up going from like a fantasy kind of style for the game to making it really minimalistic. And a lot of people really hated it because of how drastically it changed the user interface of the game. It simplified it a lot more and gave it and got rid of a lot of its unique flair. But I don't know, it kind of works though. And I do like black into like that tealish color. Though I don't really feel like it works thematically that well for Gems of War. But it is what they went with. Like for a visual readability, it works good. It just doesn't really fit that well in the theme of game that Gems of War is. But anyways, let's go and finish this out. Got 6 battles left to go, and that should be all rewards. I don't think we need another one. Though we might. But this is one of the highest multiplier delves in the game, so I highly doubt we're going to need it. Because that's such decent multipliers, we're most likely going to reach the points without actually even needing to have spent the 30 gems. However, I still like it because it gives us an enchant and helps speed things along a little bit. Let's go get Truffle down and hopefully loop off a def on that. And he's dead, we won. As soon as you can tell that Forest Troll's ready to just kill or get things looping, you just know you auto-won. That's why you can normally call the exact moment when you have won the battle with this team. And then just infinitely loops. But this is one of the few teams in the entire game where there's like a distinct moment of using the team where you just know you automatically won. And this is not it because we can actually miss right here. But if it doesn't miss, we won. And we won. It's already over. It's one of the only few teams that has that much predictability on it. It has really high consistency. The only issue it really has is getting started. Once it gets started, you pretty much auto-win. What do we grab here? It's really good at denying the enemy from getting any value. As I give him some value. Yeah, we'll have full mana next turn, and we just went off of that. As long as this hits, we win, and we won. And oh no, we didn't get enough mana off his cast because he's blocks. So this is a really weird location for the blocks. That'll kill it out there. Let's see. We'll grab this one in. Oh yeah, shiny cards used to be a thing in the game. It used to be. Yeah, I really hate where these blocks are in this place. Like, it's supposed to be like a spore, I guess. It's kind of like what they're going for. It's just in a really weird location. And yes, I call them blocks. Because they're blocks that block. Blocks. Oh, I just misclicked onto the thing. And dead off of that. Super dead. Shirbanu or King Gob? When you say King Gob, do you mean King Irongut? Which is a better loop? Oh, you mean Gob Truffle. Gob Truffle is a better loop. Because Gob Truffle can do it indefinitely when synergized with Forest Troll, where Shibanu, even with perfect team setup, can eventually miss. But Forest Troll into Double Truffle, once it gets going properly, like 100% properly, with like Green Storm and everything, it like can't lose. Like, as long as you don't deliberately try to make it stop looping, it'll never stop looping. If you have all three of these full mana with perfect board setup with Green Storm, it will never stop looping. It doesn't even have to be perfect board setup. It has to be enough board setup to get the extra turn off the Forest Troll. But no, this team can pretty much loop infinitely, where Shibanu cannot. She can get quite a few loops in a row, like even a few dozen. However, she has a pretty... She has a chance of missing, whereas this team basically doesn't miss once it gets going, due to auto extra turns always saving it. And we won. There we go. And now we actually won. Oh, what was your question? Do you know if you could claim a salty code 2 times yesterday? You shouldn't have been able to unless she added more claims to it. I didn't hear her at any time mention that she was adding more claims to something. Also, what on earth is that? 30 legendary ingots. I might need to screenshot that. Have we ever gotten higher than 30? That's above average, isn't it? That seems really high. Why did we just get 30 of them? Isn't that way above average? Doesn't it only drop like 6 at a time? That means we got like 5-6 drops. Or something like that. I don't think I've ever seen 30 plus legendary. We don't need them though. But that's a lot of legendaries. And we're done. Yeah, that's what I thought. This place is really good multipliers. So we didn't even need that final battle. But there's our loot. Also, can we stop getting oranges? Don't you dare be double orange. Oh, it was... Oh, that's actually good. Well, it wasn't double orange. It's the opposite of double orange. 2 orbs we actually need, purple and blue. Quite literally the only 2 orbs that are of value. And we got both of them. Really nice. Well, that was a really productive faction event. They always get to run faction events. You can run it for only 30 gems. Like, assuming you can consistently not lose Val Ravens and not lose any battles, which doesn't take too many stats to get through. Early on in mid-game, it might be a little bit hard, but later in the game, it's like super easy to get through those. It gets some pretty good loot. For only 30 gems, you get 2 orbs and a Volkey, which is really good value. And in that time, we didn't even actually need the 30 gems to do it. However, it did help speed us along. Hey, and there we go. A Medal of Arachnia. You're useless as of next patch, but we can still use you for upgrading purposes, if nothing else. But anyways, guys, any other questions anyone. Otherwise, I'll probably be heading off for now, as I did want to go catch Super Tuesday coverage to see what's going on with that. But we'll be back tomorrow night, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hour prior to now tomorrow, as we do every single night. Tomorrow, we're getting that one brown mastery pet. It's not a new one, but you might not have it upgraded yet. Forget how many more copies I need. But if nothing else, we'll get more copies towards it. I think we might have maxed it already, but if not, we'll get more copies of it tomorrow. And other than that, we'll probably finish out raids tomorrow as well. Since we didn't do as many today, we'll finish it out tomorrow and go from there. Other than that, this Thursday we'll have a class event for the Drifting Sands Hero class of Dervish. And then on Friday, we have two things. We have ourselves a Vault event, and we have ourselves a new Mythic. The new Mythic is kind of average to below average, and the Vault event is a Vault event, so we'll be able to grind up a bunch of resources. So we got all that. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will catch all of you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.